Please click like and subscribe and that little notification bell for the next episode.
Well, Main Street Joplin is really part of the original Route 66. And in the last 5-6 years, it has become the catalyst to for redevelopment in downtown Joplin. And you can see all of the stores that have come back. We've got treescapes, all kinds of things that have happened.
Their business district is right on Route 66, so there's a lot of things to do up and down the street.
One of the fun places on Route 66 is the Sultan of Smoke barbecued seafood place. It's right on Route 66, and it's probably the most popular place in terms of Joplin for the old timers who really understand great smoked ribs and that kind of thing.
You're in town and you want to play? This is a good place to play.
Good place to play.
You like the rock and roll and the kind of the sounds of the old time, the 50s and the 60s, especially the 60s. I will tell you, this is the place. Guitars, a rock and roll country bar, and as you can see, it's right on Route 66.
You won't see this kind of rocks just anywhere. I mean, if you're into rocks.
Yeah.
And we're certainly into getting stoned.
Stone, yeah.
We're here in Schifferdecker Park. Schifferdecker was a man that just made millions in the early days of Joplin in mining, and he gave this entire piece of property called Schifferdecker Park to the city of Joplin. In the early going of Route 66, Schifferdecker Park was very important because they didn't have enough motels and hotels on Route 66 in those early days, and they used to allow the campers and the cars to stop along Route 66, which is right beside us here, and they could stay overnight. And welcome to the Joplin Museum. I'm really fortunate because I've got not only a good friend of mine, but the director of the Joplin Museum Complex, Brad Belk.
This is Percy, our greeter at the museum. He's been here about 10 years. We are here because of our great mining heritage. You're walking into the mineral wing, and we have some incredible mineral specimens, primarily of lead and zinc crystals, but there's also calcite and pyrite. And these zinc bars were the end result of, after going through underground, bringing the minerals to the top of the surface, to the milling, and then to the smelters, and boom, here you have the zinc bars.
Schifferdecker Park here with the
That's right, how they have down on
That's the significance of Route 66.
Route 66, Carousel Park. One of the fun things that it's right on Route 66.
Joplin was the last stop in Missouri. Then you go through the very small segment of Route 66.
13 miles.
We went into Galena.
Galena,
the first city that you come to. We're in Kansas. We just crossed over into Galena, and we're talking to Renee. Renee's going to narrate and tell us a few things about this great state.
We have a beautiful viaduct as it curves around. They call it the Front Street Bridge, but it's actually a viaduct. It has a curving motion. This building over here used to be the Eagle Pitcher plant. It was one of the largest smoldering plants in the world. Galena is a mining town, which Galena lead. It was named for the lead that they mined here. And this section of Kansas was the only section of Route 66 that was shut down by martial law. At one time, there was a strike at the plant, and they had to shut down Galena and 66 for martial law because the strikers were turning over vehicles that was on Route 66 at that time.
Renee, because you can't help but read
And
Renee.
she's the 4 women.
On the road.
Yep. It's a gas station.
That's
and
now
4 women that run it.
The building across the street used to be a White Rose gas station. Mr. Bradshaw owned the building. The gas pumps were right on the sidewalk. Where our gas station used to be the Banks Hotel, they had to tear it down in 1933 because it was a monstrosity. And when the people on 66 would come around, they couldn't see vehicles coming, and they would often run into Mr. Bradshaw's building. And this is what we call ghost riding. Whoa. The Palace Drug Store was on South Main, right on the corner. It was a drugstore that had a soda fountain shop in it. They put their advertising on the side of this building because Route 66 was right through here. The Victorian house that's across the street, the Staffelback house, was a well-known brothel. Inside it still has the beautiful staircase, still have the pocket doors. A lady named Staffelbeck, she was a madam, and when she would find someone that wasn't around here, she would had her girls lure them in. They would have their fun, and then she would have her sons knock them out on the back of the head, kill them, and they would steal all their goods that they had. And then they would throw them in the abandoned mine shafts here in the area. She died at Fort Leavenworth in prison. Her sons were hung. The reason they got caught was one of her girls was kicked out in the middle of the winter time, and she went right to the sheriff and told the sheriff about it. We've had ghost hunters come through here after midnight paranormal investigations, and they believe that you see the orbs and everything. So